I also want you to understand we are the core. We are the chaplain corps. You and I make up a unique body of people that impact this nation. It is our privilege to make a difference in people's lives. And as I go through this presentation tonight, I want you to understand that you and I have the wonderful privilege to represent Almighty God around our nation and to impact lives of people who may never come into our church. There are people in your community that would never come to my church. There are people in my community that would never go to your church or your synagogue or your house of worship. And the reality is we have the privilege of doing that. Now, I'm going to be talking tonight about some of the things that we have been able to accomplish. But I want you to understand, I haven't done any of this by myself. I have a team of people who are really good at what they do. And God has allowed me to pull together a team that is helping you be successful. And that's our goal, to help you be successful as you touch lives all across the country through the chaplain program. So I want to introduce my team to you. I may be the chief, but I want you to understand Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Linda Pugsley is my deputy chief. Chaplain Colonel Jay Hughes is the deputy chief dealing with programs. Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Sergio Freeman is the deputy chief for personnel. Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Williams is the deputy chief for IT. Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Ronnie Witt is our secretary of both the CCAC and CCEC. Chaplain Colonel Charlie Satgast is the chief emeritus. And then we have Kenya Bogans, who is our chaplain corps administrator out of Maxwell and does a lot of the things for us at Maxwell Air Force Base at National Headquarters to help us as well. And then I would be remiss if I didn't also include Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Tim Miner, who is our media guru, and he and Jeff are making this happen so that we can be able to have this type of a wonderful organizational opportunity. And I like to say we're impacting lives with truth at points of greatest need. What a privilege we have. We represent the faith traditions of America. And as we work through this, we are able to see the reality that everyone is welcome here, and we are able to impact all of those lives. Now, as we think about this, in my next slide, I want you to think with me of a challenge that I would like to share with us. And that's from Isaiah chapter 41 and verse 10. And so, next slide, please. In Isaiah 41:10, we read, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." As we walk through these days of COVID, I want you to understand God gives 2 commands and he gives 3 promises. And we can take these and help people as we walk through this time. We can encourage them. We can be that inspirational leader that the general has just talked about, and we are able to recognize what God is saying. Number 1, he says, "Fear not. I'm your God. I'm with you. I am right here. I will take care of you." Then the second thing is, don't be dismayed. That word dismayed means to look around and to gaze around and let what you see distract you and discourage you. Don't be dismayed. I will help you. I'm your God. And so we recognize that he is there and he is encouraging us. And then he says 3 promises. Next slide, please. And in the 3 promises that we have, he says, 1, I will strengthen you. That word strengthen means to make strong, to make you courageous. In a day like today where we have people who are struggling, we have people who commit suicide. They just have no hope. They let this COVID thing so engulf them that they just have no strength. And God says, I promise, I'll make you strong and courageous. And as he makes you and me strong and courageous, we can then pass that through inspirational and spiritual leadership and servant leadership into the lives of those we touch and encourage them and strengthen them. In fact, you'll see in verse 6 that that's exactly what happens. But he says, number 2, I'll help you. The word help there is a word that means I'll surround you and support you. As we walk into our responsibilities with Civil Air Patrol, it is good to know that God will surround us and support us and help us as we do our job. And then he said, I will uphold you. Now, this is an interesting word. It means I'm going to grab hold of you, I'm going to lay hold of you, and I'm going to hold you up. So if you think that you're slipping and you're starting to fall over, God says, no, I'm going to make you courageous. I'm going to support you, and I'm going to grab onto you and hold you up and make sure that you do well. And what a privilege and what a thrill to know that God's doing that. Next slide, please. And we see in verse 6 of Isaiah 41 that the people helped each other and they encouraged each other. So as we see that, the word help means to support, and the word encourage there means that I will make you firm and resolute. I will strengthen you. And so they were able to do that with each other. And what he's saying there is they accepted his promise and then they worked with each other. So I want to help you. I want to encourage you. I want to strengthen you. And I want you to know you're not in this alone. My team and I pray for you. We are thankful that you are a part of this chaplain corps. And together, we're making a difference. Together, we are moving the goal, and we are achieving what we're trying to accomplish. I want you to be encouraged when you hear some of the things that are happening in the next few moments. And I want you to be encouraged with that. So as we look at the next slide, in the transmitter, I shared with you my 3 E's. And these are things that I want you to be reminded of, and I want you to think through all the time. Number 1, excellence. We are the Chaplain Corps, and I expect from myself and from you the 3 E's of excellence, expedience, and exhibit. Excellence, you and I are the only picture to those around us that they will ever see of the Chaplain Corps. When I go, wherever I go, I am your representative of this Chaplain Corps, and I represent you. And wherever you go, you are my representative of the Chaplain Corps, and you represent me and the rest of our corps. So we need to understand that we need to be excellent in all we do, and that's one of our core values, and we need to live it. Expedience. We need to do our work well, and we need to do it as quickly as possible without sacrificing excellence in what we do. One of our challenges is keeping the paperwork moving, and that's a problem right now. I want you to understand that for CDI applications, we're turning them around really quickly. As soon as we get them, many times the same day, sometimes within 2 days. However, the chaplain application is a little bit different, and here's why. Our offices are closed at Maxwell because of COVID. Montgomery, Alabama is one of the hot spots in Alabama, and so Maxwell Air Force Base only has necessary people there. So most of our people, in fact, all of our people at national headquarters are working off-site. And so Kenya, who is our Chaplain Corps administrator at national headquarters, is working off-site. So she does not have the ability to get into the office and get the mail that has the 2088s and the aspect of the applications and the transcripts. And because those things have confidential material, she's not able to take them off base. We're able to get into the e-services off base, and we can deal and process the CDI applications, but because of those areas of need at the Chaplain Corps. They're waiting on post, and when it opens up, we will work diligently to get all of those worked through as quickly as possible. But expedience. So here's a little thing that I learned in leadership class one day, and that is Ohio. I tease about this. I live in Indiana, so I'm understanding that there's supposedly a big school somewhere in Ohio that has a big athletic program. My reality is that Ohio
Go
means,
Bucks.
for me, somebody is breaking in with uncouth words, I hear. No, seriously, it's fun to have those rivalries going. But Ohio means to me, only handle it once. That's a good thing. When something comes across your computer, comes across your desk, only handle it once. Deal with it, take care of it, and move on. So as we deal with this, I encourage you, excellence in what we do, expedience, handle it and keep things moving, and then exhibit. You and I, when we enter a room, we bring the holy with us. That doesn't mean that others don't. That doesn't mean that there are not other people in Civil Air Patrol who are people of faith. But what it does mean is we are expected to be the exhibit of the holy when we walk in. Therefore, we're the Chaplain Corps. That's who we are, and therefore exhibit him well. May our members recognize the presence of God in and through us as we serve both God and country. So please keep these 3 E's in your mind as we walk through the days of service together. Well, let's look at some of the things that we are achieving and some of the things that we have worked on. When I became the chief, I was asked by the general if I could make sure to, next slide please, if I could be sure to move the things that Chaplain Satgast had been working on and get them completed and implemented into the field. And those things were the core values for senior members, the new Chaplain Corps Regulation 80-1, and the Chaplain Corps Handbook 40-80. Now, we have completed some of these existing projects, and we have instituted new visions for our future. And so let's look at some of the things that have been completed, and we'll look at some of the things that we are working on for our future. Next slide, please. Another goal is a strong recruiting and retention program, which includes a good mentoring program initiated. So we're looking at that. Number 3 was the Mission Chaplain program being finalized and including an SOP for a call out and a new SQTR in place and functioning, and a way to help our personnel who are unable to attend NISA get the training. And so these are some of the things that were predominantly important to me and Chaplain Satgast, and going back to Chaplain Hughes and others who have sat in this seat. So, next slide, please. We're talking about the core values for senior members, CAPP 80-3. It is completed. It's in the field as of 7 October 2019. That material will also be baked into the senior member training track levels in the new volunteer university. So we've worked together with Colonel A and her team, and that material is in the field and available for use. The new Chaplain Corps regulation, Chaplain CAP Regulation 80-1. It is being finalized and prepared to present to national headquarters for publication this month. That means that when I'm done tonight, I hope to send Chaplain Williams the final edition of what we want in there. He will put those changes into the document, get it back to me, and then I will send it on to national headquarters, and they will start the final scroll for it to go on and become publication and a regulation. So this month, I want to get that finished, and then I'm hoping that it will come out as a publication August, September timeframe. And that will be a wonderful accomplishment on everybody's part. Many people have put a lot of hard work into this regulation, and we simply appreciate everything. And so that's, everybody gets a kudo on that. Well, let's look at the Chaplain Corps Handbook 40-80, CAP pamphlet 40-80. It's next in line for review. My goal is to have it published in early 2021 at the latest. I'm hoping to see this picked up. Now, it's a good-sized document, so it might take us a couple of months to get our way through this, but that's our next thing that we're working with, and it's almost complete. The team has done a good job on that. We just have to put our last look at it and see, once the 80-1 is done, then we finalize the 40-80, and we're hoping to have that available to be published early next year. And so we're making good progress there. We also, next slide please, we're at the Mission Chaplain Program. Now, one of the challenges we had with the Mission Chaplain Program was being able to get everything accomplished and getting people into the program. And we have looked at this, and I've updated it a little bit, and talked with the folk that are working this team, the emergency services, the chess faculty team, and Chaplain Taylor, who's doing such a good job there. And we've changed a couple of things in there and taken some stuff out of there and applied it across the board for the nation. So what we've done, the Emergency Services School will have 3 basic levels. The basic mission chaplain course. Everyone has to take this. And so that is the foundational course to be a mission chaplain and the mission chaplain support specialist. Then what we're doing is we're having a ground operations segment and an air operations segment. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But we've revamped the program, and we've taken the chaplain support team idea. We're leaving it in the chess emergency services idea, but we're bringing it out and applying it all across the board to the squadron, to your activities, to the aspect of any CAP cadet activity, like you have any kind of schooling, and I just forgot my name, the major thing we do every summer, an encampment. All of our encampments, having a chaplain support team made up of a chaplain and a chaplain support specialist, and as a team, we're working together to meet the needs of those at the program that we're working with. And so that's the vision that we have there, and we're moving it that direction. Next slide, please. The Mission Chaplain Program, it's the basic CAP support, has been moved online into a Zoom presentation. It will be presented as being presented. They've already done the Alpha group. They're getting ready to do the Bravo, and this summer it will be done 3 times and then twice in the fall. And everyone who takes this is going to get the basic CAP support program, and that's foundational to everything. And it's a permanent rating. It will never go away. You don't have to worry about, will I ever not be a chaplain support specialist, or will I not ever be a chaplain, mission chaplain rated. Once you have achieved that, it's permanent. Now, next slide, please. What we are also doing is, once you have that foundational program, now you are able to look at what we are calling a triangle. And if you have a triangle in your mind, the foundation is the chaplain support specialist rating. Now, if you want to do ground ministry and the disaster relief ministry, we're calling it ground ops at this point, it's going to be presented at NISA. And so instead of having 1 week where you can go to NISA to get that, we now have 2 weeks, because the mission chaplain course is being done online in the Zoom program. And what used to take just maybe 60 people in a year, we're now going to be able to get this summer and fall close to 150 people trained. And so this is exciting, and I trust you're excited about that as well. So once you have your foundation, you then can choose, do I want to go up on the FEMA disaster ground ops side of this triangle, or do I want to go up on the new program that is being developed, the air ops side? And we're developing a new program we'll talk more about called the Flight Chaplain, and working with chaplains to be part of the flight aspect. We have many of our chaplains who have aeronomic ratings, and they can be a part of an air crew, and we have our air crew ratings. And so what we're looking at is merging the air crew and the chaplain and trying to get everything pulled together so that we can move it forward and have two sides of our triangle. And then if you go ground ops and do the NISA training in the aspect of disaster, you can then complete that, and then you can go over and take the one that deals with air operations if you wish. But it's not, you don't have to have ground ops to do the air ops, and you don't have to have air ops to do ground ops. You can choose to do both, or you can choose to go one side or the other. You can't do both at the same time. You'll have to take them in two separate programs. But that's what we're looking at with the Mission Chaplain program. Now, let's look at some new programs that have been instituted. We've talked about some of the things that we've been developing and working through that were on our plate when we came into the position, and we've helped work through and move forward. Here are some new things that we've done. This year in March, when we got into this COVID situation, I got together a team of people and we started working on it, and Chaplain Minor was helpful with this, and we have developed a nationwide chaplain on-call program, and it's in effect went into effect in March. Every wing in the nation has the ability, if someone needs a chaplain, they call the chaplain, and there's an on-call chaplain waiting to step in and help them. We're excited about that, and we're thankful that that's in place. The CAP pamphlet 80-4, the Wellness and Resilience Handbook. General Smith spoke to this. That's in our, I'm the Chief of Chaplains is the person of responsibility for that material. And that's in the Chaplain Corps' responsibility, area of operation. And in April of 2020, that handbook went into the field, and it's up and it's available. And we continue to work with the wellness and resilience teams, but we are also happily able to say that that handbook is available. And then in May of 2020, we instituted the Chiefs Roundtable. That's so that on a monthly basis, we will put out ahead of time when we're going to do that, and I will be in a Zoom conference, and we will look at one area, and then we will take questions and do a Q&A with you from all over the nation, so that we can try and just keep connected with everyone. And so we are working in those realms to make that happen. Let's look at some other programs that I hope you'll get excited about that are being developed. We have, one of the things that we were needing to do was under the old chess program, we were looking at having a Air Force rating, chaplain, the AFAM rating. Well, we've pulled that away from the chess program, and we've made it a new program, and it's called the Auxiliary Chaplains Course. Now, what we've done is we've moved the old Air Force support out of that program, and we have separated it from chess. We're developing a new program in conjunction with the United States Air Force Chaplain College. And the Chaplain College has the U.S. Air Force basic course, Chaplain basic course. They have their advanced course, and now we are developing with them the auxiliary chaplain course so that you and I can be trained. When I sat down with the Chief of Chaplains of the Air Force and we talked about this, I said, I would like our people to be trained by your people so that you know that we are trained just as well as your chaplains, so that when we do an AFAM mission, you don't have to worry about who's trained us and how we've been trained. We're all training to the same set of materials. And so we're working on that right now. And upon graduation from there, you will be able to get a certificate signed by the Chief of Chaplains of the Air Force, the Chief of Chaplains of CAP, and the Commandant of the Air Force Chaplain College. And we're going to make that available for our personnel. Just like the Air Force has ratings that are available for their chaplain assistants, our chaplain support specialists, we're going to make sure that everybody is being able to be involved in this type of a course. So we're looking at how to make this, and like I say, this is being developed. We're in the early stages, but it's our goal to have this up and running this year. Then we have also the Veterans Affairs Chaplaincy Partnership. I have been in touch with the Chief of Chaplains for the VA, and we are working together on helping the veterans, the VA, do funerals for veterans. And so the VA, we're working with the VA and the national cemeteries, and to have our Civil Air Patrol chaplains help provide funeral coverage for veterans at the VA and the national cemeteries. Our legal department, as we speak, is going over an MOU that the VA has sent us and we have been working through, so that we're hoping to have this up and running in the very near future. So those are some new things, and we are excited about them. The third new thing that we've established this year is a Chaplain Corps recruiting team. And so this has been established. They're up and they're working. Chaplain Colonel Charlie Satgast is the chair of this team. He was the Chief of Chaplains. He's currently our Chief Emeritus, and he and I spoke about this, and he said that he had a burden to see recruiting, and I said, all right, let's make this happen. And I said, let's pull together a team. And so we have Chaplain Satgast, and they're doing recruiting and retention and mentoring. That's all. I wanted all of that involved in this recruiting program. Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Dewey Painter is a member at large. His responsibilities covers all faith groups and all faith traditions. But and one of the things I would ask you to do is ask your seniors and cadet members of the names of their clergy from the faith traditions and the houses of worship that they go to and they attend. Have them ask those clergy if they would like to be a part of Civil Air Patrol, and then get back with us, and you go with that cadet or that senior member and talk to that clergy person about Civil Air Patrol. Then we give that name to our recruiting team, and the recruiting team will follow up. But Chaplain Painter is the one who is doing a lot of things along those lines. Now, there are two specific organizations that we are focusing in on because, quite frankly, we need Catholic priests and we need Jewish rabbis. And Lieutenant Colonel John Ruderman is a Catholic priest, and he's their faith tradition representative on this recruiting team. And then Chaplain Major Aaron Cohn is the Jewish representative of the Jewish faith group, and he is on this recruiting team as well. And so we have a well-rounded team, and I am thrilled for each of these members and happy to work with them and to see how that is functioning, and they're doing an excellent job. Well, next slide will show you something that the Air Force has done. They are showing us that they have bought into Civil Air Patrol, and we are truly a total force member. As you see this is a handout that the Air Force has, and when they have candidates talk to them, they talk to them about the chaplain candidate program and how they can explore what the commitment is. And so seminarians are looking at the chaplain candidate program. If for some reason they're not able to go further than that, let's say they have a health issue that would keep them from moving forward into the active duty, they say to them, well, look, here's Civil Air Patrol. You can have a uniform service and still function as a chaplain and work with Civil Air Patrol. Once you have all of your education done, you can work with Civil Air Patrol as well as in these arenas, but you have the option of doing reserve, air guard, and qualify there, or you can go full-time and be active duty. So they have this complete program, and then at the bottom they have the website and the phone numbers and contact information so people can be able to get in touch with whichever arena of service they want. But we are a vital part of that. In fact, in August, the Chief of Chaplains is having his senior summit, and he has invited me as your chief to be a part of that senior summit and the Chaplain Corps Summit this coming August. And so you can be praying about that with us as well, as we have the privilege of representing you in the senior summit. And that will be a great opportunity. Well, the next slide says, during this coronavirus arena and time frame, life has been altered and plans have been canceled. So I want to say congratulations. If you've had a milestone that you were not able to celebrate, we want to say congratulations. Job well done. Woohoo! Go for it. And way to make us proud. You've done some wonderful things. Maybe it's been a wedding, a birthday, an anniversary, a graduation. Maybe there's been a birth in your family. Whatever. Congratulations on all of that. My wife and I just last month celebrated 51 years of marriage and ministry together, and it's been an honor to serve together. And we're thankful that we can say congratulations to you for all of the things that you have done, and all the things and all the anniversaries and birthdays and weddings and graduations and the new children born into your families. God bless you and congratulations for all that you have done. Well, the next slide says Murdoch is done. Do you have any questions? Thank you very much for all that you do. I am willing to try to take some questions, and hopefully I will have answers. If I don't have answers, if Chaplain Pugsley is still on board, I'll let her answer them. She's the deputy, supposed to have all the answers, right? So we will do our best. So any questions?
I got one. Under the new regulations, would the waiver program go away, or it will continue the same way for chaplains to come in on the waiver program?
No, the waiver program will still be there. That will not go away. Everything, all of that regulation will still stay in effect, and so we will continue to bring people in the way we bring them in.
Sir, I've got 5 questions in Moodle so far.
Okay, let's try them one at a time.
Question number 1, new programs. So, sir, the new programs are exciting and inspiring. Thank you for including CSS. Was not a question, I apologize.
That's all right, we'll take all the kudos we can get.
Yeah, can CDIs participate in the new programs? Is from the chat room.
Yes. What we're looking at, we are looking at making this and moving the term CDI out of the way and making the reality a chaplain support specialist who does character development instruction. But we are a team, and we will function as a team, as a chaplain and a chaplain support specialist, and together we will make a difference in our communities. So that's my goal. That's the vision of wedding these two programs closer together and making it truly a team function.
Next question, and you may have, really this would be related. With the expansion of the allowed functions of current CDIs as we transition to CSS, could the feasibility of allowing CSSs the limited ability to hold a devotional type non-denominational service at encampments and other cadet activities where staff is unable to secure a chaplain to support, subject to approval by supervision of the wing chaplain? I think that's already available, is it not?
I believe it is, but we will investigate the question, and I don't see why we can't come up with an answer that would be affirmative.
According to the new regulation, the only thing that we can't do are sacramental. So a layperson or a CSS could not serve the Lord's Supper or do a baptism or a wedding, is the way I see it. Air operations, full course be taught at NISA. Air operations will also say that about ground operations.
Okay. Ground will be at NISA because of all that is necessary for the FEMA and the emergency services side of that, and how they tie in with the incident command and tie in with the medical teams and the ground teams and all of that. That will definitely be at NISA. We are looking at, yes, the possibility of doing something at NISA with the air school and have, as you get your Air Corps ratings, but not limiting it to NISA, because many of our wings have emergency services colleges or symposiums that they do on weekends, and we can bring in excuse me, the air ops side of it there as well. So this is still in the growing section, and we're still developing it, but we are looking at all of those questions to try and make sure that we make it as available as possible for everyone to be able to participate.
Can I make a comment, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. In terms of the flight chaplain, what it is that the chaplain would have to be a mission pilot, a mission observer, a mission scanner, archer trained, or some part of the air crew. And that was the whole idea. The chaplain would actually be in the aircraft serving in that air crew capacity, but be considered part of the air crew. So they would travel with the air crew. That's why it's only the flight chaplain. There just isn't room to put a whole CST in there. So that was the difference. Many of the flight crews are in need of the same things as all of the ground people. So that's kind of the new idea that has come up. And that's why the training doesn't really have to be at NISA, because you can get your scanner training, your observer training in any of the wings, really. But if you go to NISA, there's already a mission air school that's established there, and you can get all of those different ratings there, whichever one you're going for, during the 1 week training. So hopefully that'll clarify it for everybody.
All right.
There is another clarification here. You had referred to this college as a National Staff College. Is this an RSC or NSC? This is actually a Region Staff College. It is a 20-hour versus 40-hour. So it's just like an in-person CCRSC.
Right.
So I could answer that one for you, sir.
Thank you.
I've got another one coming up as well.
Okay. As he said, it's a national presentation of a Chaplain Corps Region Staff College.
And is there any way we can make our own lessons for character development and instruction, or create topics for review?
Yes, you can create topics for review and submit them, but you are not able to write your own curricula. The curriculum is being developed on a specific agenda that we want to see happening and dealing with, and it's in a 2-year cycle. And so if you've got ideas and you've got input, send it to Chaplain Satgast, who is part of the writing team, and it will be considered. But you cannot write your own. And part of the reason for that is we are responsible legally for what goes out there. And if you put something out that is not something that we as the organization would approve of, then we're liable. So we want to be very careful about those types of things. And I'm not saying that would ever happen, but who knows? So we are the ones who are going to be working that program. So it's not that we don't want your input, we want your input, but we need to say you cannot just write your own material.
Let's see, we've got more questions here. How much time do we have before Chaplain Olivo?
He is on the on-deck circle. He's been swinging his bat for 15 minutes. So
What I will do then, sir, if I may, is come back to you with these questions and ask you to answer them offline sometime this month, and we'll get them back to our students. Would that be acceptable?
That's fine. Or once Chaplain Olivo is finished, we can, if we have time left, I can come back on and spend some time again.
Very fine. Thank you, sir.
all right, so thank you very much. And we'll take a quick break. Meanwhile, there's a polling question out there for everybody.
Where do we find the polling question?
It should be actually on your screen. It should be in the middle of your screen if it's happening.
If you do not see the polling question, make sure that you answer at least the feedback for this session, and you will still get credit for the session. Because we're taking attendance several different ways here, and we will conflate the lists.
Sir, the feedback questions are, it says that it's in mode anonymous. Is that going to still allow us to get credit?
Ew, crud. I will see that you have posted there.
Yeah.
I won't see what your answer was.
Okay, thank you.
The questions, the polling questions are not anonymous questions. I did not check anonymous on them. They were created anonymously. All right.
I did keep the feedback anonymous, but the logs show who is posted in each area. So I will be working off of the logs rather than the questions themselves.
Sir, I couldn't do the first question because I was having some technical difficulty. I admit I got on about 8 after. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're just going to share the results right now and talk about it. The first one is wrong because it's capital C, capital H is Army, parentheses is Army, or you will see the transmitter or social media use a parentheses around a rank only because the AP formatting for public affairs uses the Army formatting, and the CAP, all public things have to be using the Army format. So if you have in your signature block a parentheses around your rank, it is incorrect, and capital C, capital H is an Army abbreviation. The second one is wrong because you never use things like board certifications or degrees or anything like that in a military Air Force signature block. The third one is wrong is because capital C, capital H, capital C is a Navy term. That's how the Navy identifies their chaplains. The only correct one is the fourth one. Capital C, little h, comma, either spelled out or abbreviated appropriate rank, and then the name. That is the only correct signature block on an email or on a letter according to Tongue and Quill. And so that is our polling question for now. Sir, how about 5 minutes and we'll have our next guest speaker. Is that okay?
That'll be fine.
Very good.